one of our partners is Founder Institute, and we're going to start a accelerator. So we have Dominique here to share that great news. She told us about it yesterday, and today she's going to give some more pearls about this program. Dominique?
Thanks, Yuli. I will do just that. Let me share my screen for a second. Get this here.
So what Dominique is going to talk about is this partnership between Innovator MD and Founder Institute. Founder Institute is the world's largest accelerator company out there. And so we are building the world's biggest health accelerator. Go ahead, Dominique.
That's a great intro. Thanks, Yuli. We should use that intro all the time. First of all, Daniel, great talk, inspiring as always. So we're launching, basically, in a nutshell, this is a partnership between Innovator MD and the Founder Institute. And the Founder Institute is the world's largest pre-seed startup accelerator. We've partnered with them to launch FI Health, which, as Yuli teed up, is the first global health vertical accelerator program that Founders has ever had. The timing is ripe for it. I think this conference reflects that with every speaker we've heard. So what is this partnership or this launch? FI Health, as we call it, and note it's not healthcare, it's health, because we're really trying to look at the complete universe of health related, health driven and health motivated innovations that can really transform the world through smart ideas turning into fundable and successful startups and eventually global companies. It's a 14-week program. It runs May 10th through the 17th. And I know many of you have heard this yesterday, but we've added a few updates, but the background is pretty much the same. Health entrepreneurs get access to both Innovator MD and Founder Institute's networks and resources through this 14-week course. But I just want to emphasize this whole program is not just about the coursework, even though the coursework leverages on literally hundreds of entrepreneurs, advisors, mentors that have been in the startup space, health and non, for years. It's also about the networking that you as a mentor, if you join us, or as a founder, if you join in that capacity, will have lifelong. So it's really just about, if not more, about the networking as demonstrated here at this conference, as it is about, going through the program. But I digress slightly. Since 2009, the graduates of the cohorts themselves across all verticals and areas, geographical areas, have raised over 1.5 billion in funding. And that reflects over 35 billion in valuation, which not only includes startups really flying off the ground, but also, a good number of unicorns as well. Founders is based in Silicon Valley with chapters across 90 countries, as I think Yuli mentioned yesterday. There's some very well-known companies that have gone through the Founder Institute. Udemy is one of them, but there's many others as well. This is just the key dates. Recruitment phase starts yesterday through April 20th. Early admissions deadline is March 27th. Final is May 1st, and the course launches on May 10th and extends through August 17th. So all of the events, add a little more color from yesterday, are on Wednesday evenings from 6 to 7:30 Pacific time, and they'll start, they'll be weekly starting May 10th. But there's also a lot of recruiting events leading up to that are very content focused, where we're looking for mentors and others, maybe from this conference or friends of yours, to come and to speak as subject matter experts on topics about how to fund a startup, how to learn more about the ecosystem, how that's specific to health, all those sorts of things. So the recruiting events are going to be starting February 16th and going through, I believe it's the middle of April, just to give you a little bit more granularity as to this timeline. So I don't want to go for too long, but the ask, I've added a few more details on here since yesterday, because some of you asked, how can we apply? And some of you were already interested in applying, which is fantastic. So yeah, we're asking for mentors for our cohort. We want to have about 30, but we can never have too many. because there's a lot of opportunities and different ways to mentor through this program. Commitment is probably the first question people ask. It's as much or as little as you want to give. I mean, this audience and anyone that you know that might be interested probably can offer so much richness to the learning of our young founders. We also need actual entrepreneurs from your networks. So there's a link that'll be available to apply by mid to end of next week. I'm being a little conservative by saying next Friday, because we are still developing. Founders is still and marketing is putting up our health site so that we'll be able to actually send applicants to a site to learn more about our particular vertical. But if you email us your name, if you're interested in applying, and you haven't already emailed me or Yuli, we'll add you to a prioritized list. I'll have a Google Doc where we can add you to that. And when we do start getting applications, we'll be putting you into the queue for applications with prioritized status due to this, of course, this partnership with Innovator MD. So more to come on that. And through our distribution for this conference, we'll be able to reach out easily and be in touch with you. Thanks to Ruchi and others, we'll be able to email you back if you express interest with the link, and just keep you posted on the timeline. I'm going to take a breath. Let's see, Yuli, did you want to add anything? If anyone has questions, surely chat them in, or just, I think we can probably unmute you.
I'd be happy to. Thanks, Dominique. That was a clear and crisp presentation. So one thing is that we will be getting candidates from throughout the world. And this is a great opportunity for people to give back. And a mentor, I see a question here, we're definitely looking for mentors. Mentors are people that are experts in the field, whether it is, healthcare innovation, healthcare technology, healthcare services. But also we would love to have mentors who have actually been entrepreneurs before, because they make the best mentors. Because you either, whether you're involved with a startup or startups as a chief medical officer or chief business officer or strategy officer, where you've lived the life of startups and you understand what they go through and the challenges, and your advice is very valuable to these startups. The second point I wanted to emphasize is that, by the way, there is a small sharing of equity from these startups that are generated here. I call it small because it's like 1% of the equity for mentors, 1% for the class, and 1% for the organization headquarters and us as a startup accelerator. But the key is, since this is a global organization, what you are contributing to is the health of the globe, the whole world. So when you advise these startups, or when you participate in this, what you're supporting is these tiny startups out there, anywhere in the remote parts of the world, where they can make a difference in the health of that population. So this is a great way of giving back to the community, giving back and making a difference in the world. We are a mission-driven organization, as you must have recognized by now. Innovator MD is always about physicians, the providers that are delivering healthcare on the front lines, right? And the second important person is the patients, or the community, the public. And how are you going to make a difference in their lives? And this is a great way of giving back. So I want you to look at it in that angle. Although you have a wonderful network of investors, mentors, and entrepreneurs that you can mingle with this organization. So thank you very much. It is time for our next session. Thank you, Dominique. I'll talk about the Innovator MD University after at the next break. But thank you, and just send us an email, and we'll get you on the list.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Yuli? I just said one more quick addition. There was a question. I don't want to derail us from the agenda. There was a question on equity yesterday that I think Dr. Goldman asked. And so do we have time for me to give a quick answer to that?
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So basically the way that equity works is there's a warrant agreement. So each founder signs a warrant with the Founder Institute, and that sets up the 4% that you just mentioned. So 1%, goes to mentors, other people in the cohort, the co-leads of the particular cohort, and also the Founder Institute itself. But a warrant, for those that don't know, is an agreement between two parties that gives one party the right to buy the other party's stock at a set price. And so the specific answer to, I think your question was, the Founder Institute gets 4% of equity at the time of the first qualified equity financing. And that can be a minimum, that has to be a minimum of $100,000 of, I think it's outside capital, or certain like $25,000 through an additional accelerator program. So I hope, and then after that, the distribution is diluted over time. So that's the non-diluted part, is up to the qualified equity financing, the QEF. So I hope that helps. I just wanted to give that information because that might be salient to your decisions.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yep. Bye.